hero, Gilda Marx. She's my hero for so many different reasons. Here's a picture of Gilda on the cover of her book, Body by Gilda. You may know of her as the inventor of the flexitard. So anyway, my first exercise class was when I was 15 years old, and that's when my mom got me my first flexitard. They were shiny and they came with stirrup tights. Just 15, and if it hadn't have been for Gilda's classes at 15, I never would have been a dancer. Now, she was a lot like me. She's still with us, but I believe she might be almost 90 now. But she was born in Pittsburgh, and she started to dance there as a little girl, and she just loved it, and she was really successful at it. But she was a chubby little girl. And then her parents moved out to California, and when she went to dance class out there, she didn't fit in anymore and was uncomfortable. And so she decided to learn about fitness and how to eat in order to overcome the limitations of what she perceived as being an overweight or a chubby kid, just like me. One of the hardest things about being a chubby kid for me is that my older sisters, who were not chubby, all got to go to ballet class. But when I got old enough for ballet class, I was overweight. And so on the recommendation of my doctor, my mom put me on swim team instead. And I was really, 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 really bad at it. I would just like sink to the bottom of the pool. And because I wasn't any good, the coaches just ignored me. So they didn't give me any coaching. And so I got this bad impression of what fitness was all about. It was really, really painful. And that got even worse in PE. But thank goodness, when I was 15, my mom put me in the Body Design by Gilda class, run by Mark and Karen out in Scottsdale, Arizona. So what I learned there is with me even today, and I'm 61 now and still doing fitness here on YouTube, although I did close my fitness studio in 2016, but that's another story. But the most important thing that she taught was that when you got too tired to maintain excellent form, you had to rest. And it turns out that she also lifted weights too, but she didn't bring weights into the fitness room. The idea was that, women could just come in, we had bare feet, and you just came in a group and you learned how to train, and you mixed dance with music and with fitness. But the most important thing that Gilda taught me, and the most important thing that we learned, is this idea that when your form deteriorates, you have to rest. And that's important because what I'm encouraging people to do now is resistance training, especially resistance training in order to develop insulin sensitivity. Because insulin sensitivity and sugar freedom are what allowed me to overcome obesity in my 40s and maintain a healthy and normal weight into my 60s. So the 9 exercises that we're doing for insulin sensitivity are just 9 exercises. We alternate. We do push-ups, squats, rows, deadlifts, overhead presses, single leg reverse lunges, butterfly raises, and we do curls as well. Oh, and calf raises. Those are the 9. And the idea is that those have been tested and proven that if you do that set, 9 exercises, you only have to do 1 set to form failure, which is what Gilda taught me, is that you go as far as not exhaustion failure, or you can't absolutely do it failure, but you only go as far as you can continue to do reps with excellent form. Thanks, Gilda, way back in the late 70s, early 80s in Scottsdale, Arizona. Learned it from her. So that's the idea. It's just 9 lifts, and you can go to my website, catherinetraining.com, and I have a video showing those 9 lifts. The other idea that I'm working with now, people talk about throwing back to 2016 because now it's 2026. In 2016, I was training clients for looks and money. Yes, looks, money, and trophies. The idea back in 2016 is we wanted to look hot. You get into a bikini, all of those things. And we used to do before and after pictures, and then we would vote on the most inspiring transformation. And then whoever had the best transformation would win money. But it's different now. It's really changed. I'm not training in order to look a certain way as much as I'm training in order to feel a certain way, be effective, and of course, ultimately stay out of the nursing home. There was just a report that falls. I'm here in California, in the foothills of California, and when I worked with Gilda, I was in Arizona. So I was an Arizona girl. So in the States, I get up really, really early. at any rate, there's just a report that came out. I still get the reports from when I was a personal trainer that falls, you're not going to believe this, folks, falls have actually overtaken car accidents as the number one cause of injuries. And I think, yeah, cause of injuries are in people over 60. And now that I'm over 60, I didn't realize that falls were a greater danger to me than driving my car. And so this is like an insurance policy. Okay, thank you for asking. So this is Body by Gilda, and Gilda is my fitness hero. She's like about 90 years old now, and she was an overweight little girl, just like me, an overweight little girl who loved to dance. And it was dancing, and she combined dancing with fitness training and really good form, excellent flexibility, which then allowed me to go on and become a dancer. I actually worked as a dancer. Here's the picture here of me in the cast of the Statendam. I was a singer-dancer for Holland America line. So I'm right there, the blonde, sitting down right here. This was back in 1996. So that was a long time ago. But if it hadn't have been for Gilda and the training that I got from her, I never would have been able to be a dancer because I started too late. So I took my first dance class when I was 19 in college, and I was terrible, couldn't keep up with the rest of the class, but I had learned enough in Gilda's class about flexibility and strength and how to train that eventually I was able to get out of Ballet 1, started taking jazz and tap, and ended up working as a dancer in the LA area. But the point now that I'm 61, going on 62, yes, I did. I did look pretty good. Remember though, I was, how old was I then? Actually, I was 31 at that point. Yeah, my college days were pretty good. They were pretty fun. But I went to like a Catholic women's college. So that was fun. I was at St. Mary's, and Notre Dame was across the street. So we did have a lot of fun. But yeah, I was pretty good girl in mostly focusing on my studies, or at least I tried. But on Gilda, she actually developed the kind of exercise style that then was made so famous by Jane Fonda. But that is okay, because she was incredibly successful and incredibly happy. Another thing that's common between Gilda and me is that she married the son of Gilda Marx, and my husband played Groucho Marx in the musical Groucho. So we actually have a Marx Brothers connection and a connection to show business. Because very often, if you're trying to figure out what's going to motivate you to exercise, I used to be motivated just by looking better. Now I'm motivated by feeling better and staying out of the nursing home and not experiencing a fall. So the whole point of what I do, the combination between training, which used to be turbulence training, which I learned from Craig Ballantyne, and sugar freedom, is the idea is that we're going to cut sugar, we're going to lift weight, and we're going to prevent falls, and we're going to stay physically fit. And I call it staying in service, because especially after 60, I'm not retired yet. I'll probably retire at about 70, but at that point, I want to stay in service in order to stay fit. Gilda Marx is alive now, but what's a little bit sad is that her husband passed away about 2 years ago. I used to follow her on Facebook, and then once her husband died 2 years ago, all of her Facebook posts have stopped, and she really has been very quiet, and I haven't heard from her very much. So my concern is that she's really pulled back from being in the public eye. And of course, we really miss her because she was an incredibly enthusiastic and fun lady, as you can see with the big kicks here. She just had a great attitude, and you can also see the shiny tights, the stirrup tights, and of course, leg warmers, which were ultimate 80s. So Gilda in very much, yes, wouldn't it be amazing to see Gilda coming in and coming on alive? I think I might try to reach out to her on Facebook, but as I said, her feed has been pretty quiet. Speaking of feed, now is the time, because it's coming on 6:30 here in Sonora, California, to get into the kitchen and to start to make my sugar freedom breakfast and to start a good day. All right, Thank you to my hero, Gilda. And I'll keep doing my hero series. Next, I might do Jack LaLanne. Or is it Jack LaLanne? All right. Until then, everybody, thank you for being here. Take care. Oh, and I follow, because I also do yoga, and India has meant a great deal to me because the Iyengar method is my favorite form of yoga. All right. Be well, everybody. Eat for yourself. We'll be back here soon on Sugar Freedom Channel, staying fit and dropping sugar.